Rome did not fall in a single day. There was no final battle where the empire collapsed in flames, no moment when the world suddenly realized that Rome was gone. Instead, it died slowly, over centuries, like a giant too vast to notice its own decay. At its height, the Roman Empire ruled over much of the known world. From the misty hills of Britain to the burning deserts of Syria, Roman roads, laws, and armies shaped civilization itself. Rome was not just a city. It was an idea of order, power, and eternity. And yet even the eternal can fall. The story of Rome's decline begins not with invasion, but with success. For centuries, Roman legions conquered relentlessly. Victory brought gold, slaves, and land, but it also created a problem Rome never truly solved. Size. The empire became too vast to control from a single center. Messages took weeks to travel. Armies were spread thin across distant borders. Enemies no longer needed to defeat Rome in battle. They only had to wait. Inside the empire, cracks began to form. Roman politics grew poisonous. Emperors were no longer chosen for wisdom or leadership, but by force, bribery, or assassination. In some decades, multiple emperors ruled and died in rapid succession. The throne became a prize for the ambitious, not a responsibility for the capable. Power shifted from the Senate to the army. Soldiers declared their generals emperors, and loyalty was bought with gold rather than honor. Civil wars erupted again and again, draining Rome's strength from within. While Rome fought itself, its economy began to rot. Endless wars required endless money. Taxes rose. Coins were debased, filled with cheaper metals to stretch imperial wealth. Inflation soared. Farmers abandoned their land, unable to survive under crushing taxation. Trade slowed. Once prosperous cities shrank as people fled to the countryside. The empire still looked powerful, but it was hollow. Along Rome's vast borders, new threats gathered. Germanic tribes, Visigoths, Vandals, Franks, and others pressed against the frontiers. For centuries, Rome had kept them at bay with discipline and fear. But now, the legions were understaffed and underpaid. Many soldiers were no longer Roman citizens at all, but mercenaries hired from the very tribes Rome feared. In the late 4th century, disaster struck. The Huns, fierce nomadic warriors from the east, swept into Europe like a storm. Entire tribes fled before them, including the Visigoths, who begged Rome for refuge. Rome agreed, allowing them to settle within imperial borders. It was a fatal mistake. Roman officials abused the refugees, starving them, extorting them, even selling dog meat at outrageous prices. Desperation turned to rebellion. In the year 328 AD, Roman forces met the Visigoths at the Battle of Adrianople. The result was catastrophic. The Roman army was destroyed. The Emperor Valens was killed on the battlefield. For the first time in centuries, Rome had suffered a decisive defeat against a barbarian force within its own territory. The myth of Roman invincibility was shattered. From that moment on, the empire was on borrowed time. In 410 AD, the unthinkable happened. Visigoth warriors marched into the city of Rome itself. For 3 days, they looted the ancient capital. Temples were stripped, homes burned. Romans who had believed their city was protected by destiny watched in horror as their world collapsed. Though Rome survived the sack, it never recovered. The Western Empire grew weaker with each passing decade. Emperors ruled briefly, often as puppets controlled by generals. The army dwindled, borders crumbled, Provinces fell away one by one. In 455 AD, Rome was sacked again, this time by the Vandals. The city was plundered mercilessly. Its treasures were carried off across the sea. The heart of the empire was empty now, its glory a memory. Finally, in 476 AD, the end came quietly. A Germanic general named Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor of the West, a young boy named Romulus Augustulus. No great battle followed. No resistance rose. The imperial crown was simply sent away, returned to Constantinople. The Western Roman Empire was no more. Yet Rome did not truly vanish. In the East, the Roman Empire lived on for nearly 1,000 more years as the Byzantine Empire. Roman law shaped future nations. Roman roads became the foundations of Europe. Latin evolved into modern languages. Even today, governments, armies, and legal systems carry the imprint of Rome. The empire fell, but its shadow never disappeared. Rome's story is not just about conquest or defeat. It is a warning that no power is eternal, that corruption, division, and complacency can destroy even the greatest civilization. Rome was not defeated by barbarians alone. It was undone by its own weaknesses, slowly, quietly, and inevitably. The empire that once ruled the world did not fall in a day. It faded until nothing remained but history.